caring pro-lifers who have worked tirelessly to help to organise this march. And can I just say that the organising committee were not paid professionals, but instead they're everyday Kiwis just like you and just like me. There were young adults, there were mums, there were dads, there were grandparents, all with other jobs, all with other responsibilities, but all who willingly volunteered their time. Because here's the thing, similar to yourselves today, when we look and we see what is happening in this country at this time, we can no longer sit there and stay quiet. When we see the way that the sanctity of life is disregarded and even despised within our culture, when we see our government who has introduced perhaps the most liberal and barbaric abortion law in the whole world, a law that does not give pain relief to the unborn who can feel pain before they are aborted, a law which does not protect against sex selection, disability discrimination, a law that doesn't offer any medical help to that poor baby in the case of a botched abortion, a law that allows a baby to be, I hope this isn't too strong a word, but slaughtered within their mother's womb right up until birth. When we hear of 13,000 lives around about that were forcefully ended in our country through abortion in 2019, when we consider that in the Christchurch hospital alone, the building that's just a few kilometres that way, when we consider that the lives of 1,595 innocent human beings were aborted in 2019, if you're a mathematician, well, that's 30 lives every single week in 2019. That is 4 lives every single day, and I'm talking about today, 4 lives taken. When we think about the End of Life Choice Act that our government wants to push through this year, that instead of caring for the elderly, instead of caring for the vulnerable in our community, our government wants us to assist them in ending their lives. When we consider all of these things, I'm just asking the question here, how can we just sit there and say nothing? How can we not be moved and compelled to action? How can we try to pretend that everything is okay? Because the answer to that question is that we simply can't. Friends, that is why we are here today. The reason that we have gathered here today is because we all agree with the simple principle that every life of every human being has value. Every life has value regardless of how young or how old. Friends, we are here today because we agree with science that at the very moment of conception, the unborn are living, distinct human beings. They have their own unique genetic code. They have their own gender. They have their own blood type. At the moment of conception, a fertilized egg contains everything that's needed for full human development. But friends, in addition to science, we are here today because we agree with sound reason. A human within its mother's womb is no less of a human than one outside of the mother's womb. In our country, a person outside of the mother's womb, they have human rights. And those human rights are not dependent upon one's size. They're not dependent upon one's level of development. They are not dependent upon one's environment. They are not dependent upon one's degree of dependency. And so I ask the question today, why would we not allow for those same human rights to the person within the mother's womb? Why would anyone think that a person who is protected by a few centimeters of their mother's skin and tissue be any less of a human and any less deserving of basic human rights? Sound reason demands that a human being within the mother's womb is no less of a human than one outside of the mother's womb. But friends, in addition to science, in addition to sound reason, we are here today because we agree with the Word of God. We agree with the Word of God that every single human being has been made in the image of God, and therefore they are to be esteemed, therefore they are to be protected, therefore they are to be valued.